Welcome back to Capitol Square, everybody.
We spoke with our next guest earlier this week, and she is certainly no stranger at the State House. She's regarded as one of the most fiery speakers in Ohio politics. Here she is on the Capitol steps last week talking about the anti-abortion bills in the budget.
We fight back against the agenda to control our minds and our bodies. We fight back against those who want to make government small enough to fit where the sun doesn't shine. And we fight to preserve the rights of our foremothers, what they died for.
Now, State Senator Nina Turner, also a candidate for Secretary of State. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Jim.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Jim.
So we just heard that portion of the remarks you made on the State House steps on the abortion issue. Do you believe Republicans have really just pushed this issue to the extreme, and will it be beneficial to your campaign next year?
Well, I think they have pushed it to the extreme. I mean, really disregarding women's access to high-quality health care, and that's what this is about. And it should not have been tucked into the budget at the, like thieves in the night. That's how I refer to it. It was under the cloak of darkness that they did it, hoping and thinking that women would not pay attention. But we did, and to see those protesters out there, 17,000 letters were delivered to the governor on this issue, but yet and still, those things stayed in there. He did not line item veto. I believe that women are fed up, and they're going to show that in 2014.
How surprised are you that even moderates from the Republicans didn't join forces with people from your party on that particular issue?
I'm very surprised, but I think we need to get the message out a little more. People who are pro-life, there's a misconception that if you're pro-choice, you're pro-abortion, and Tracy, that is not it. You are just pro-choice. Women have a constitutionally guaranteed right, Roe v. Wade. I'm pro-quality of life, and that quality of life means that a child that's birthed in the world should have high quality education. It means that they should live in a city where safety forces and the things that they need. We have a state government that decided to cut local government funds, not fund education, and then call themselves pro-life. So I think more women are going to they're going to come together, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I think women are going to be fed up about being told what to do with their bodies.
Senator, the Republican Party wasted no time commenting about your announcement. Chairman Matt Borges sent out a statement. I want to read it to you. Quote, "Her radical policies and rhetoric contrast greatly with Secretary of John Husted's common sense conservatism. He calls you liberal, radical, left wing. Are you ready for these labels that are going to be attached to you from the other side for the next year and a half?"
If being radical means standing up for women's rights, if being radical means standing up for voters' rights, as this current Secretary of State tried to take them away, appealing all the way to the United States Supreme Court to take away the last 3 days, well, they can call me whatever they want. But I think the Ohio voters will have the final say. And as I traveled this state, people want fair elections in this state, no matter which party you're with or not.
So you're not worried about that infamous liberal label?
Not at all. Yeah.
Did we have voter suppression in Ohio?
Oh, we did. We had an environment created. We have a Secretary of State who not only appealed all the way to the United States Supreme Court, but just think about the tax dollars that were wasted in all of these appeals to take away the last 3 days of voting. They also, billboards cropped up all over the place. I'm not saying he had anything to do with that, but the environment that was created last year. I mean, I talked to people last year as I traveled the state. People didn't know which rules to follow. We had directives that came out that put a burden on one county that it didn't necessarily put on another. So yes, voter suppression efforts did take place in the state of Ohio, and that is not what should be happening in the state. Even right now, you both know in Hamilton County, 39 voters are being sent to the prosecutor's office for voting absentee and then going to their polling place, being told to vote provisionally, and now they're being sent to the prosecutor's office for following the law. Something is wrong with that. Fair elections is what we need.
Secretary of State Husted spoke to an elections conference a couple weeks ago. I was there, spoke to some of the election folks from the 88 counties, not all of them, but various counties. Most of them had relatively positive things to say. What are you hearing from them about how elections are being handled across the state?
A lot of confusion. A lot of confusion happened last year, last-minute directives to do this and that. I think voters in this state and also the elections professionals should have a certain amount of certainty when it comes to elections, especially in a presidential election. A lot of people are frustrated, so they might not necessarily say that in a conference, but they certainly have been saying those things to me. I want to make sure that whether you're the elections professional or you're the voter, that you understand the rules of engagement, and I will do everything in my power as Secretary of State to make sure that elections are fair, that we expand the franchise, and that also through that office we're focusing in on jobs.
And early voting in our state starts 35 days before the election. Is that too early? What do you think?
No, I think it's fine. Trace, we got to remember 2004. hundreds of thousands of people walked away from the voting booth because of what happened in 2004. The General Assembly corrected that, and now all of a sudden, and we played it out in 2008 under Jennifer Bruner, everything worked fine, Secretary Bruner. Then in 2012, the other side wants to change the rules. What is wrong with 35 days? What's wrong with unfettered access to the ballot?
Senator, Secretary of State Husted's top priority now with the legislature, he says, is online voter registration. Want to play some sound from him, as a matter of fact, and how passionate he is about this issue.
If we're going to have people out there walking around with paper registrations, walking to your door, filling out your paper registration for you, having you sign that, and then you have to trust them to get that all the way back to the Board of Elections, and then the Board of Elections official to key that in correctly. You tell me if that is more secure and more prone to error than if basically we take your existing record, have you verify that that's your existing record, and then process it that way.
Secretary of State Husted, online voter registration, very passionate, obviously, from that. Where do you stand on that, and do you think that that is a top of the list item to work on?
Well, we should have online voter registration. It would have been nice had he been working on that when he was the Speaker of the House or a member of the Senate, but I certainly support online registration. We need to do the things that we can as a state to make access to the ballot easier for folks. Online registration is one of those ways, but we also have to keep into consideration that there are some communities that don't have the same level of access to technology. Keep that in mind too, but online registration is good. Yeah.
So let me ask you about this. In the history of Ohio, 5 African-American Republicans have been elected to state office. No Democrat ever has. What does that say? Does it say something about the Democratic Party here?
I don't think so. It's not because the Democrats have not been trying, for a very, very long time. This is the time. We're going to keep trying, and this is the time. This is going to happen. We're going to help to make history in the state of Ohio with my candidacy.
Republicans say Nina Turner can't help herself. She'll say something very public, something they say outlandish next year that will end the election right on the spot. You've heard that. So let me just ask you, as you look ahead to this campaign and talking with your campaign advisors, are you prepared for this campaign now? Are you going to kind of tune back, or are we going to see the continued Senator Nina Turner that we've seen down at the State House?
Well, I am prepared, Jim. I'm prepared to be who I am. I am a fierce advocate for everything that I believe in, and I articulate that very well. So I'm going to be me.
And we look forward to it.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you for coming in, Senator Nina Turner, candidate for Secretary of State.
Good to see you.
Pleasure.
And when we come back on this Sunday, our strategists Sam Gresham and Carrie Casey join us, and you don't want to miss this debate.